Hi everyone, this is Marcus Simpson from Surgery Pro. Today I'm going to talk with you about the digital script workflow for the dvtPRO therapy system. And you should be looking at the dvtPRO script in front of you on your screen. You may actually have it open as well if you've clicked the instruction video button. And I want you to know a couple things when we start out. We developed this form in-house. We have complete control over it. If you have any suggestions or specific modifications that you'd like to make for your group, we can make them for you and then send you a customized form for your practice. The first thing I want you to know is that there is obvious customization here that would be done for most practices. Now, this block of 4 providers can be a block of 8 or 10 or 12 with checkboxes. You'll note that these are actually working checkboxes by these 4 providers. We also have 2 versions of this file. This file that you see that has the images, which we kind of like, but also a file that knocks out the images and then uses that real estate to expand some of these boxes. The one without the images is typically the one that we will send to practices that are only going to print the file as opposed to fill it out electronically. So I want you to know that. Now, everything that you see here is a working box, and all the boxes are organized in a sort of a logical fashion, and there are 5 sections approximately to this document and every other script that we have. There's a patient block, okay? There's a duration and usually a settings block, surgery and qualification block. There's a CMN or language block, and then there's the provider block including the signature, and finally the function buttons. Now you'll note as I move my mouse over each of these buttons that there's a little visual cue that they do something. This instruction video button might have been the way that you got to this video, probably was. Note that if you're editing the script in a browser like Firefox or Chrome, this is going to negate the work that you've done. It will open the video through YouTube hosted or on our website directly in the window that you're in. So make sure you save your work in advance. Sorry for that. There's no way around it. Clear resets the document to its legacy state. Okay, so whatever was the ship state of the document, and if we ship it to you with providers and your address and so forth filled out, that will maintain. Print pulls up my print dialog box here. I'm not sure that yet it is going to work. So here's my my system, and I can select which printer I want and so forth. I can also print it as a PDF through this window. I can also save it thereof as a PDF. The submit button will encourage me to select an email approach. Now we're going to talk about that a little later, but this is important. You want to make sure that if you're going to do the electronic submission, that you're certain that your email system is HIPAA compliant. We can help you with that. We're actually building a HIPAA compliant email system for all of our prescribing practices as well. So we'll go over that in a little bit. But the bottom line is that we will probably need to speak with you therein. Certain IMAP and POP3 carriers like Gmail's not HIPAA compliant. Our system is HIPAA compliant. Many systems are. It takes a little bit of time to understand that. But that is doable, and it's worth investing the time. If you're a regular user of our products, you can really save time by doing a digital signature and then a digital submission. So those 5 sections. Now, moving through the document. If I place my cursor in the first name field and start typing, so let's call this person the very creative name of James Smith, I can tab through. You get the idea. I can tab any. All these fields allow me to type however I'd like, and tab, tab, tab. Say that I want Mr. Smith to have the unit for 14 days. I use the space bar. So I'm tabbing between fields, and I'm using the space bar to select an item to be on or off. Now, if, for example, I wanted Mr. Smith only to have left calf DVT, I can use the Shift tab. So tab, Shift tab, tab, Shift tab. And here I want to deselect the bilateral. I already have the left calf selected. You get the idea. I could have selected bilateral foot. Again, that's space bar to select and space bar to deselect, and then Shift tab to move up, tab to move down. Maybe I want Mr. Smith to have the diabetic settings, and I do want DVT. Let's understand here that as this document was in its natural state, I'm going to hit clear so you can see this. The natural state or native state, standard settings is pre-selected. DVT does need to be checked if you'd like to add DVT, and then note that the pre-selected DVT function is bilateral, so you could select another one if you'd like. The timing is not pre-selected. You need to indicate which length of time. That's required by Medicare. Surgery performed, we can say, left TKR, and obviously we'd spell it out. but that's very doable. And ICD-9, we'd put it in. We can have ultimate. I might indicate which hospital or rehab facility, any other specific instructions here, tabbing between those lines. This checkbox allows us to speak with the carrier using the Caprini risk assessment, which is out of the University of Michigan, very common in terms of DVT prophylaxis. Facility name, we're going to go through how I can have this pre-completed in a moment, but you're going to get the idea. Date is the next, and then signature block. Once I've signed this document, again, I'm going to click that to sign. Note that usually the document is closed after signing, so you'll want to experiment with that. It is important that after the document is signed that it be locked in general. So this is my electronic signature. I've gone over the difference between, sorry, that's a digital signature. I've gone over the difference between electronic and digital signature in another video, but we can talk about that. Give us a call. Look at our white paper therein. This field of 4 physicians I can pre-complete, and then I would simply check this. You see these are all check boxes. If this is, say, Dr. Jones working on David Smith. Very, very straightforward. Now let's talk a little bit about some of the ways that I might use this document right out of the gate without working with Surgery Pro to do any further customization, which is available to you. So what you would do is you'd fill in your practice information. So let's call you, South Shore Orthopedic, and you would then fill in your address. You'd fill in your doctors. You'd say, okay, I've got. Then again, I did all of that with just the tab key. I've got. Jim Jones, MD, his NPI. I've got, Mary Longwood and her NPI. And then what I'll do is I'll save this. So either Control or Command S. I'll overwrite my original file, and or I can save this as my template, so I can call it whatever I want. And then ideally, I just copy that and save it as a backup. So I have 2 files of the exact same thing. And then what I'll do is that I will go in and I'll enter my patient, Jim Smith, yada, yada. And then instead of doing a save, just a straight save, I'll do a save as. So I'll do an Alt F to get into the file menu, or an Option F in the file menu on a Mac. I'll save the file as, which is usually the hotkey is A, and I can save it as Smith, Jim, dvtPRO script. Now that's saved, and I haven't overwritten my original file that had my pre-completed practice information. So now I've got a PDF that is pre-completed, my script, ideally digitally signed, that can be attached to my EMR for this patient, or printed out, of course, added to the chart. And then the other thing is that if I don't want to do a digital signature, I could just pre-complete the script, print it out, sign it, have my physician sign it, etc., and fax it in or scan it and remit electronically. So some nice functionality there. And I think that's basically what I wanted to go over with you. I'm just going to try and take a look here at my notes to see if there's anything else. The hotkeys moving through with Tab, Shift Tab, and Spacebar are really quite functional. And just note that we can customize and change any of these fields. And if we put in your practice information, those fields will be locked. So, when you hit clear, this would be static, these would be static, and then you get the idea. And if you wanted, for example, everyone to be 21 days, we can do that. It's better that your staff selects and notifies. Email provider support at Surgery Pro for information, and definitely, contact us to join our mailing list as we launch some really cool additional services. That is the appmedicine.org system, and this is a system that this digital workflow we have trademarked as Scriptacity. A lot of fun. Okay, and more information will be at scriptacity.com in the near future. Okay, so thanks so much, and give us a call, shoot us an email. If you have any questions, you can always contact us at info@surgerypro.com. That's it. Thanks again.